Welcome back to the Business Advice Podcast, everyone. I'm Sean, and as always, I'm joined by the insightful Diane. Today, we're diving into something that touches almost everyone, whether you're a homeowner, a hopeful buyer, or just someone looking for a place to live. North Carolina real estate.
That's right, Sean, and it's a topic that's been buzzing lately, especially with a recent report from Smart Asset making waves. It found that North Carolina's housing market is projected to be the ninth least competitive in the U.S. for 2026. Now, least competitive might sound negative at first, but it's really about perspective, isn't it?
Absolutely, Diane. It's a massive shift from the frenzy we've seen over the last few years. For so long, it felt like if you even thought about a house in North Carolina, it was already gone, probably with multiple offers above asking. This report, though, really pulls back the curtain on a different kind of market emerging.
Exactly. And when we talk about least competitive, we're not saying homes aren't selling or that NC isn't desirable. What the Smart Asset study looked at were factors like the average days on market, the percentage of homes with price cuts, the sale to list price ratio, and even the inventory per capita. These are all indicators of how much power buyers and sellers have in the negotiation.
And the numbers for North Carolina are quite telling. We ranked first in the nation for the percentage of homes with price cuts, coming in at a staggering 37.2%. Think about that. Over a third of the homes on the market are seeing their asking price reduced. That's a huge signal.
It really is. For sellers, that can be a tough pill to swallow. They might have seen their neighbor's house fly off the market 2 years ago for top dollar, and now they're having to adjust their expectations significantly. It means the days of listing high and expecting a bidding war are largely behind us in many parts of NC.
Then there's the average days on market. North Carolina ranks 7th for that, with homes sitting for an average of 89 days, nearly 3 months. Again, compared to the blinking you miss it sales of the pandemic boom, that's a whole different ballgame. It gives buyers time to think, to inspect, and to negotiate, which is a luxury they haven't had in a while.
And that's where the opportunity comes in for buyers. Less competition means fewer bidding wars, which means you're less likely to overpay. You're also more likely to be able to include contingencies like home inspections and appraisals without fear of losing out to an all-cash, no-contingency offer. It's a more traditional, balanced market that we're seeing emerge.
Yeah, the sale to list price ratio for NC was 98.7%, meaning on average, homes are selling for just under their asking price, and only 23.9% of homes sold above asking, which put us 18th nationally. These aren't the figures of a red-hot, seller-dominated market anymore. It screams buyer's market in the making.
But let's be clear, least competitive doesn't mean no demand. The article itself pointed out that North Carolina is still incredibly desirable for many reasons. Its natural beauty, the growing job market, and its diverse culture. People still want to move here. It's just that the supply is starting to catch up, or perhaps even outpace that intense, immediate demand we saw.
That's a really important distinction, Diane. It's not that NC is losing its appeal. It's more that the market is normalizing, or perhaps cooling, as some experts put it. We've had such an influx of people, especially during and after the pandemic, that perhaps construction ramped up significantly to meet that, and now we're seeing a healthier inventory level.
And interest rates certainly play a role, too. When rates were rock bottom, buying power was immense, driving prices up. Now, with higher rates, that buying power has diminished for many, which naturally slows down the market velocity. It's a multifaceted situation, not just one single cause.
It's also interesting to see where NC stands in comparison to other states. The report mentions states like Washington, Colorado, and Florida are among the most competitive. Then on the flip side, states like West Virginia, Wyoming, and Mississippi are even less competitive than NC. So we're not at the bottom of the barrel, but we're definitely trending towards a market where buyers have more say.
Absolutely. For sellers, this means you really need to be strategic. Overpricing your home in this market is probably the biggest mistake you can make. It just leads to more days on market and ultimately often a lower selling price than if you had priced it correctly from the start. Professional staging, high-quality photography, and a strong marketing plan become even more crucial.
Couldn't agree more. And for sellers who might be feeling a bit of whiplash from the past few years, it's about managing expectations. The market isn't necessarily bad, it's just different. It requires patience and a realistic approach. You might not get 20 offers in a weekend, but you will likely find the right buyer at a fair price if you're patient and well advised.
And for buyers, this is a golden window of opportunity. I mean, if you've been on the fence, scared off by the relentless competition, now might actually be your moment. You have more inventory to choose from, more time to make a decision, and potentially more room to negotiate on price or terms. It's a buyer's market, but not a fire sale. You still need to be prepared and have your finances in order.
Exactly. Don't mistake less competitive for free for all. Mortgage rates are still a factor, so understanding what you can truly afford and getting pre-approved is as important as ever. But the stress of feeling like you're in a race against time and every other buyer out there, that's definitely eased.
It also brings up an interesting point about the regional variations within North Carolina. Charlotte, for example, might still be experiencing slightly different dynamics than, say, Asheville or the coastal areas, or even the more rural counties. This ninth least competitive is an average across the entire state. A specific local market might tell a slightly different story, even if it's trending in the same direction.
That's a crucial point, Diane. Someone looking at a brand new development outside Raleigh might see a different picture than someone trying to sell an older home in a well-established neighborhood in Winston-Salem. Always, always, always consult with local real estate professionals who understand the micro markets.
So looking ahead, what do you think this means for the next couple of years? Do we see North Carolina continuing to be a buyer's market, or do you think things will swing back the other way?
Honestly, I think we're settling into a more balanced, sustainable market. The extreme highs were, let's be real, not healthy in the long term. This correction or cooling is actually a good thing for the overall health of the real estate ecosystem. I anticipate a market where well-maintained, realistically priced homes will sell, but the bidding wars will be fewer and far between. Buyers will have more leverage, and sellers will need to put in more effort to stand out.
And that's good advice for anyone involved. For buyers, don't wait indefinitely for prices to crash because NC is still growing and desirable. But do take your time, get all your ducks in a row. For sellers, don't panic, but do be realistic. Be patient and lean on your real estate professional for solid advice. It's not the end of the world for sellers, just the end of a very unique hyper-sellers market.
Exactly. The business advice here is to adapt. Markets change, and those who understand the current landscape and adjust their strategies accordingly are the ones who will succeed, whether they're buying, selling, or investing in North Carolina real estate. It's still a fantastic place to live and invest, just with a new set of rules for the game.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Sean. So if you're considering a move or a purchase in NC, take a deep breath, do your homework, and remember that knowledge is power, especially in a shifting market like this one.
Absolutely. That's all the time we have for today on the Business Advice Podcast. A huge thank you to Diane for breaking down these complex real estate dynamics. And to all of you, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, everyone.